humility. Go ahead.
Wait, I was trying to be humble.
I've often been accused of self-delusion.
Why do you think I'm being smart aleck all the time?
Your own humility. So Elton John, my
I had him on my list. Elton
one
John,
of my
good.
favorite people in the world. Now, I tolerate a lot from the political left
Sure.
about who Jesus was and what Jesus did and what the Bible actually means
Isn't
when
Jesus
it's
a
convenient.
gay man?
Because that's what Elton John said, that Jesus was a misunderstood, intelligent gay man. Now, I'll give you 2 out of 3. Way to go, Elton. You almost hit the mark. Jesus was a great many things. Philosopher, teacher, in many ways a scholar, writer, just a general all-around nice guy. I'll even say that he was a community organizer to go along with the political left, what they said in the last election. I will not agree that the Son of God was gay, because I think it would have been thrown in. Unless you want to say that it was in those 12 years, or 18 years between the time he was 12 and the time he was 30 where he experimented in college. That didn't happen. This is not a normal man you're talking about. I defy Elton John. I dare him to say that the Prophet Muhammad was just a gay man. Go ahead.
No, because he might offend them.
He might offend somebody.
It's okay to offend Christianity.
Never mind that you might offend Christianity. Jesus,
it's even gotten to be okay to offend Judaism.
It has. Remember something about Jesus,
think,
and remember something about the people who believe in him. He is not just man. He is God made flesh. He is divine. So these petty trappings that you can't seem to get yourself over, your necessary sins and hang-ups, he was better than that. He was simply better than that. And if you can't accept that there's somebody in the world who was better than you, who was able to turn down the sins of the flesh and maybe wasn't gay, then that's your own hang-up.
Well, let me ask you
mine.
something. I appreciate your rant, but you know,
me too.
Some of these guys will come out and say things just to elicit the response.
I don't. You see, what does Elton John need from that though? What does he stand to gain? He's got all the money and fame. He doesn't have
because he's not doing concerts anymore. He's just records aren't selling.
He is doing concerts. His records are selling. Yes, he's doing fine. Elton John is set for life. He's relevant forever. He will be in the history books. He wrote that song, "Don't Let Your Sun Go Down on Me" or whatever. And he was he was
That's a good one. I like that one.
He is a worldwide phenomenon as far as a recording artist. So he can't leave one thing. And you know,
Did by Normal Jeans.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
he also had the best performance on the Grammys this past time with the Lady Gaga.
Sure.
I saw it. It was
I'm a rocket man blowing out these dudes out here alone or whatever. But I digress. Elton John is, of course, his gay lifestyle has come under fire. His gay lifestyle has come under fire from Christian groups, or the gay lifestyle in general comes under fire from Christian groups. And I don't have a problem with people being gay, but don't try to cross the lines and fire back in that regard. You're not winning anybody to your side.
That's a tough call.
It is a tough call.
You think Elton John will ever land on Uranus? That's a callback, boys.
That's right. That's a great move there. I like that. So
only if you're within reach.
Only if you're within shooting range, launch distance. So Obama, we'll switch gears here. Obama has been criticized several times President Obama. I'm sorry, for not having an alternative or having his own health care plan. So today, Barack Obama comes out with his outline for the healthcare plan. And I have never wanted the old bill more than I do right now, because I'll take that piece of crap over what Barack Obama is going to try and sell any day of the week.
Well, the point is, I mean, he has invited the Republicans to come to a meeting. Let's sit down and find common ground. And he's got the bill written already.
He does.
Then what the hell do you need us for?
No. The Republicans need to go to that.
So that you can sign off on the bill.
No. The Republicans need to go to that and en masse say no.
Yeah, they do.
They need to go and make sure the cameras are on and say no.
There are times.
No.
There are times when it's good to be the party of no.
There is, and
it's good to be the party of hell no.
This is the albatross around the Democrats' neck. If they can't get this done, they'll lose their base. If they do get it done, they'll lose the rest of the people.
I was discussing this with some students today. I try to be very, very careful.
Right.
But my students are always bringing up things that are going on in the news, and the healthcare thing was that sort of thing. And President Obama can't seem to get it done. And we were talking about, what was really interesting was, if you go back and take a look and see why Obama was elected, it was over the economy.
It was.
And yet for some strange reason, he decides to spend all his political capital on health care. and by disguising it as something that's going to help the economy.
Well, because he can't help it. It's his foot in the door of your
Well, we
life.
talked about this. Is does he owe certain people in his political camp?
You know what?
And they want
he
these
wants
things.
he wants to do it because it's not been done, and that's going to be his legacy.
He wanted to charge out of the gate with the #1 accomplishment of any Democratic president.
While I've got him, while I've got control of the Senate, while I got control of the House.
Of any president, he would be remembered as a legend, no matter how bad it happened.
Right.
The socialists, the progressives would remember him as a legend for this. And
This
that's
is
what
my
he wants.
theory.
He would be better than JFK.
This is
better.
This is my theory about the health care bill. Okay, the Democrats are trying to ramrod this thing through. By the time it gets through, it will not be what it was when it started.
The Republicans just need to say no.
But in history, what they're going to be able to say is that time in history, we, the Democrats, were responsible for the biggest health care reform bill ever.
Sure,
okay?
and that's all
That's all they want to be able to say. Regardless of what it turns into or morphs into, by the time it gets down the road of 4 or 5 years, they want to say, he wants to be able to say, I was responsible for getting the ball rolling.
Yeah. Okay, now how much time do we have?
We got to close, so you got something to say.
Okay, so now we move on to climate change real quick. This has come out. Climate change is the
We got to stop humoring these people.
Climate change is the new George Bush because you can blame everything on it. Today, or a couple days ago, Thomas Friedman comes out in the New York Times and says, "Don't blame the snow on global warming, or don't trust that the snow is evidence that there is no warming." Okay, what do we trust then? What do? They can blame
Hurricane Katrina is proof of global warming.
Here's the thing.
So why not the blizzard proof that there isn't?
His quote was, the world gets warmer, weather gets weird. Okay? Weather has always been weird. Weather will always be weird. And I'm beginning to think that at the Obama White House, they have a dartboard, and it's sectioned into 3 sections. One says George Bush, the other says Republicans, and the bottom says climate change. And when Barack Obama needs somebody to blame, he grabs Joe Biden, and he has Joe Biden throw a dart, because it's the only time he'll trust him with a sharp object, and he throws it at this dartboard, and wherever it hits, he's managed to blame George Bush for the war and for the deficit while expanding the war and expanding the deficit.
Like I said, they have no shame. They have no shame.
This is like
but you have to admit, it's a wonderful idea. They have hooked onto something that no matter what happens, they get to blame it on their position on this big issue. And this is not a scientifically driven issue.
No, it's
not. It's a politically driven issue.
There has been...
Even who's that guy, Jones, at East Anglia, had to finally come out and admit, well, yeah, there's been no statistical significant global warming for 15 years. It's 15 years.
It's bashed as faulty science. And then we get Al Gore sitting in front of the Senate saying, well, there is consensus among the IPCC. Of course there is. It's the panel on climate change. That's like
This is how they make their living. This is how they butter their bread.
But that would be like me coming out and saying, there's consensus amongst Obama voters that Obama is the guy for the job. No
kidding.
Duh! And I mean, this is the bill of sale they're trying to give us, and this is how they're going to try and direct our economic
I don't trust
future.
any scientific concept that's politically driven. I just don't trust it.
I don't either. Now, so...
Because then it becomes dogma.
It does.
They've thrown out evidence to the contrary because they've buried it. They crush anybody who speaks out against it.
It has moved to the level of a religion. And here's where it...
My God, do you realize that if you're an anti-global... an anti-man-made global warming
you're a global
scientist,
denier.
You're the Galileo of your day.
It's become that way.
And they have become the church fathers.
The church, exactly. They are denying any scientific
Al Gore
otherwise.
Is the Grand Inquisitor.
He is. He is the High Inquisitor of climate change.
He's Torquemada.
Torquemada.
He's the Torquemada of climate change.
And you can't torque him out of it.
You can't torque him out of anything.
I didn't know what the hell y'all were talking about until you just cracked that.
You really got to close this up.
Now to go ahead and cap this up. Now let me get this straight. The war is Obama's win. George Bush is the warmonger. Climate change is real despite the science. Healthcare may happen despite our wishes. And Obama is winning the war despite his best effort. I quit.
I got to tell you the truth though. I've never said there was no global warming.
No, it's just not man-made.
No.
It's the hysterics on the other side that I'm opposed to.
I can't believe anything that they scream with such ferocity. Like it's like when people said you're not a patriot if you oppose the Iraq War. That's just stupid.
Sure, no, of course you're a patriot if you oppose the Iraq War. I was opposed to it initially, but once the decision was made, it was made.
But I think you're hitting on the main point of the whole global climate change thing. there is climate change going on. It has been for ever since the Earth was formed.
Sure.
But this whole man is responsible for it thing is bogus.
It is bogus.
We'll be right back with colbertradio.com and our conclusion for the evening.